The Trump administration has unveiled a 21-point Gaza peace proposal. The plan demands that Hamas release all hostages within 48 hours of an agreement and lays out a post-war roadmap for Gaza. President Donald Trump says negotiators are very close to a deal, echoing his envoy's recent comments that a breakthrough could be imminent. Meanwhile, Israeli forces continue their assault in the enclave, stepping up attacks that have driven thousands to flee Gaza City as the IDF advances deeper into the urban center. On Friday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to press on until Hamas is eliminated. But the U.S. proposal may prove challenging for him, since it acknowledges aspirations for a Palestinian state, an idea strongly opposed by key members of his own government. According to the source, the plan rules out any future role for Hamas in governing Gaza. Instead, it outlines two layers of interim administration, an international body overseeing the territory and a Palestinian committee managing local affairs. Notably, the proposal offers no timeline for transferring control to the Palestinian Authority, which currently has limited self-rule in parts of the occupied West Bank and faces strict Israeli restrictions. Israel's government, for its part, continues to reject any Palestinian Authority involvement in Gaza's governance. The proposal stops short of endorsing a Palestinian state, but it does acknowledge the Palestinians' long-standing aspiration for one. The Trump administration has repeatedly criticized other governments such as the UK, France, and Canada for recognizing Palestinian statehood, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio calling those moves reckless. Even so, the U.S. plan could open the door to some form of Palestinian self-rule. Addressing the UN General Assembly on Friday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu again rejected the idea of a Palestinian state, comparing it to giving al-Qaeda a state 1 mile from New York City after September 11. The U.S. blueprint also makes clear there can be no forced displacement of Gaza's population. This marks a shift from comments President Donald Trump made earlier this year, when he floated the idea of the U.S. taking over Gaza, rebuilding it, and relocating its 2 million residents. Since then, Israel's government has voiced support for depopulating Gaza of Palestinians while insisting it would not compel anyone to leave. On Tuesday, President Donald Trump met with leaders from several Muslim nations including Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Indonesia, Turkey, and Pakistan on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, calling it his most important meeting of the day. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said Wednesday that the plan was formally presented to Arab states at the UN, adding he is hopeful and even confident that a breakthrough could be announced soon. A source familiar with the proposal told CNN it even includes a pledge that Israel will not attack Qatar again, after Israeli airstrikes in Doha earlier this month targeted Hamas leaders just days after Hamas signaled interest in a different U.S. offer. President Donald Trump has expressed confidence that a deal to end the conflict is very close. In a Friday social media post, he praised what he called inspired and productive discussions with Middle Eastern partners aimed at halting the war in Gaza. Intense negotiations have been going on for 4 days and will continue as long as necessary to reach a successful agreement, Trump wrote. He added that every nation in the region is involved. Hamas is fully aware of the talks, and Israel, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has been kept informed at every level. It's not yet clear whether Hamas has seen the proposal, which may have been revised in recent days and could still change. Any offer would likely be passed through Qatari channels to what remains of Hamas negotiating team in Doha. On Sunday, Hamas said it had not received any new ceasefire proposal but repeated its readiness to examine any proposals from our mediator brothers in a positive and responsible manner, while upholding the national rights of our people. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is scheduled to meet President Donald Trump at the White House on Monday. Trump has stressed that the talks aim to secure the release of hostages and achieve a permanent and long-lasting peace. Just minutes after Ben-Gvir's post, Foreign Minister Gideon Saar wrote on X that he trusts Prime Minister Netanyahu to represent Israel's interests as required in the talks with President Trump. After 2 years of war, Israel's clear national interest is to end the war and achieve its objectives, Saar said. Netanyahu's ultra-Orthodox coalition partners have also voiced support for a hostage deal that could bring the fighting to a close. Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid added on Saturday that he has assured U.S. officials Netanyahu will have his safety net for a hostage agreement and an end to the war even if far-right members of the government oppose a peace plan. For now, Israel's military campaign in Gaza shows no sign of slowing. The IDF reports that about 700,000 people have fled Gaza City since evacuation orders were issued earlier this month, though CNN has not been able to independently verify those figures. Despite the exodus, hundreds of thousands are still believed to remain in the city. Over the weekend, the Israeli military said it is intensifying strikes, deploying autonomous explosive armored vehicles to clear bombs before ground forces move in. Hospitals in the enclave reported at least 96 people killed in Israeli strikes on Saturday, most of them in Gaza City. The situation is extremely difficult in Tal al-Hawa and al-Sabra near the Al-Khawar roundabout. Tanks are stationed there, and the gunfire never stops, one resident told CNN. Zakaria Bakr, 53, from Al-Shadi refugee camp west of Gaza City, said the camp is nearly empty. All means of life there have disappeared. Entire alleys have been reduced to rubble, he said. Israel's military operation now involves 3 divisions pushing deeper into Gaza City, aiming to dismantle what it calls the last Hamas strongholds.